Okay, I'm sorry about that, folks. What were you saying, brother?
Now, as I was saying, you got an Air Force Base at Dallas or
Hmm.
DFW area. You got White Sands if it's over near Natalie.
Yeah,
Take two
it,
terrible
it,
far.
it's right by Natalie. So,
Yeah, you got Fort Bliss
hmm
in El Paso.
where I was born.
It's actually a pretty place. I actually like El
I don't
Paso.
remember it.
I actually enjoy El Paso.
I was awful young at that time,
Yeah,
less
I
than a
don't know.
year old.
I don't know what's north of there.
White Sands.
I've already said White Sands. Like, what's north up
Hmm.
toward the Panhandle?
Got a lot of oil field.
But no, here's what. Here's the funny. As we were having technical difficulties and I was trying to reconnect, my wife
Hmm.
whispers over here to me, says, "It's the government messing with y'all. They're
I mean,
listening
it
to
might
Coda."
be the same thing happened. What was it? Last week too. Remember, right when we get to about an hour, we have these issues.
Yeah,
So, and we were at like 57 minutes, I think. Let me see here.
and the weird thing is,
Uh,
I can hear you the whole time.
yeah, see, on my end, it just slowly, like the audio stops syncing with your video.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'll see your lips move, and then I'll hear you talk, and it
Right.
just slowly gets worse and worse and worse, and then all of a sudden, you're doing this, and I'm not hearing a word.
Hmm. Well,
That's why I keep talking over you, is because I don't see your lips moving or anything. And then I start saying something, and then all of a sudden there's audio. Whoa, shit.
yeah. Oh, you're fine. I
So
don't realize you actually do it, so
yeah,
don't feel bad.
I don't know if it shows up like that or not, but that's how it comes through on my end. Is I'll start talking and I'll start saying something, and then all of a sudden I hear you talking.
Like, damn. Yeah,
I'm not trying to step on your toes, but shit.
that's all right. Not gonna bother me.
Oh, well, you want to do this last unexplained one, or do you
Yeah,
want
we'll go ahead and do this last one and wrap
to?
this one
Okay,
up.
we got that, and then I got a little segment on the legacy of Blue Book. Um, Another famous Blue Book case occurred in the pre-dawn hours of September 3rd, 1965, near Exeter, New Hampshire, known as the Incident at Exeter. A local teenager, Norman Muscarello, and two on-duty police officers witnessed a large, silent, unidentified object with bright, flashing red lights at a close range in a field outside of town. The UFO, described as a glowing red disc, reportedly swooped over houses and trees, causing great alarm. The policemen confirmed the youth's story, and their reliability prompted the Exeter police chief to alert the Air Force. Project Blue Book dispatched Major David Griffin to investigate. In his report to Project Blue Book's director, Quintanilla, Major Griffin wrote, "I have been unable to arrive at a probable cause for this sighting. The observers seem to be stable, reliable persons. I have found nothing in the area that could explain it." Despite this candid assessment, Air Force Public Relations quickly offered an explanation. They told reporters the witnesses had probably seen stars and planets distorted by temperature aversions. Blue Book then revised the story, suggesting the UFO might have been part of a secret Air Force and NORAD training exercise, Operation Big Blast, involving B 47 jets in the area. These ad hoc explanations did not match the witnesses' descriptions. The UFO was far larger and closer than a high flying jet, and the sightings occurred after the exercise had ended. Frustrated, the two police officers wrote directly to Project Blue Book, explicitly rejecting the official story and insisting what they saw was not any conventional aircraft or star. It wasn't until January 1966 that the Air Force quietly admitted in a letter that, based on additional information, they were unable to identify the object observed on September 3rd, 1965. The Exeter case, widely publicized by journalist John G. Fuller's New York Times best-selling book, Incident at Exeter, highlighted Blue Book's credibility gap. It stands out as an instance where Blue Book initially tried to explain away a case, only to later list it as unidentified, underscoring the pressure the project faced when dealing with multiple credible eyewitnesses. Many other notable cases could be mentioned, from the 1948 Mantell Park, a pilot's fatal chase of a UFO, to the 1951 Lubbock Lights and beyond. But the previously mentioned incidences represented some of the most famous unsolved cases directly handled by Project Blue Book during its tenure.
Yeah, I don't know that one, man. Mm-hmm.
Again, another explanation that feels almost insulting. Like,
Yeah,
oh, you saw a star and planets, but it was on the ground.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to stretch. So what I'm thinking is, I mean, there's two cops and a teenager that witnessed this, but at the same time, you had a bunch of houses that got stirred up.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thing was hallucination. I don't know how New Hampshire was in the 60s.
It's the 60s, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But the police officers kind of lends credibility to me.
I mean, yeah, there's never been a police officer that hasn't done LSD on duty. I mean, come on.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But it's not a common occurrence.
Yeah, like I said, we're talking about the 60s in New Hampshire.
Yeah. I get
So,
it. What is there to do in New Hampshire?
hot shit.
LSD.
But also sharing a shared hallucination between three people?
Yeah. And that goes back to Kelly Hopkinsville,
Yeah.
which was also investigated and explained away by Project Blue Book.
Well, now, did we just go through Project Blue Book's list of bullshit?
12,681 or 618.
Hmm. But see, Kelly Hopkinsville years later, in which
Kelly
there's,
Hopkinsville was what, 55?
I think it's 54.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But years later, there's another person that's in around the same area that's having the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get back into more on that later because I got a theory on that one.
Are you talking about Hellier?
Yeah, but I've got on the Hopkinsville Goblins. I've got a theory, and we're gonna go into some ancient native.
Oh, hell, brother. Okay. All right. I'm down.
Native folklore on that.
Yeah, I'm down.
So that's always fun. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know on that one. So,
It's
but
wild.
yeah,
All right. So Project Blue Book's closure in 1969 marked the end of an era. For 2 decades, it had been the public's primary avenue for reporting UFOs and the government's official repository of UFO analysis. The immediate legacy of Project Blue Book was to set the tone for how later generations would view UFOs. The Air Force's final dismissal of UFOs as not posing any threat or scientific value had a chilling effect on serious UFO inquiry. By effectively declaring the subject resolved, or at least not worthy of further government funds, Blue Book's conclusion pushed UFO research out of official channels and into the private or civilian realm. In the 1970s and beyond, most UFO investigations were carried out by civilian organizations, like Dr. Hynek's own Center for UFO Studies, or the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, and enthusiastic amateurs. These groups often used Blue Book's declassified case files as a foundation, reanalyzing the unsolved 5% of sightings for clues that the Air Force might have missed. In this way, Blue Book indirectly spurred further research by providing a vast data set, essentially handing off the mystery to the public. Dr. Hynek, once Blue Book's consultant, became a pivotal figure in continuing UFO studies. He publicly disagreed with Blue Book's conclusions in the 1970s and introduced the close encounter system, or the close encounter classification system, popularizing terms like close encounter of the third kind. Thus, one could say Blue Book's end was not the end of UFO research, but rather its decentralization. In popular culture and public perception, Project Blue Book left an enduring imprint. The very fact that the U.S. Air Force had a project investigating UFOs for so long lent a certain legitimacy to the topic, a point not lost on UFO enthusiasts. Blue Book was frequently cited in media and literature as evidence that the government knew more than it was saying. Its files, once released, became fodder for countless books, documentaries, and speculation. Notably, the mystique around Blue Book's era contributed to the so-called UFO disclosure movement, with people demanding the government come clean about what it learned. Ironically, the Air Force has repeatedly referenced Blue Book's final report to deflect any new inquiries, essentially saying, "We studied this and found nothing to warrant further action." For decades after 1970, no new official UFO investigation group was formed, and any sightings that emerged, for instance, the 2004 Tic Tac UFO encounter or others, were handled quietly or not at all. Only in recent years, driven by Navy pilot reports and declassified videos, has the Pentagon revived interest in UFOs, now termed unidentified aerial phenomena. In 2020, the Department of Defense created the UAP Task Force, and in 2022, it established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW, to systematically collect and analyze such reports. This contemporary effort has been compared to modern Project Blue Book, though with presumably a more open scientific mindset and advanced sensor data. Still, the legacy of the original Project Blue Book looms large. It is both a historical reference point as the most extensive governmental study on UFOs on record and a cautionary tale. Blue Book showed that the way UFO investigations are handled, transparently or not, rigorously or superficially, can powerfully shape public belief. In the end, Project Blue Book influenced not only later UFO research by highlighting the need for greater scientific rigor and transparency, but also cementing the UFO phenomena as a persistent part of American culture, one that continues to evolve long after Blue Book's final case was closed.
That was a mouthful, sir.
Yeah, try reading it.
Well, my autistic ass could never do that.
Why do you think I write it down? My autism would spiral out of control.
Yeah. Just trying to think. It's probably a good thing that Blue Book did go away. But, I mean, we've got other agencies now that are looking into it.
Ones that I equally don't trust as much as I didn't trust Blue Book.
We need individual agencies to look into shit like this.
I don't trust the government. That's all it boils down to.
The government keeps stuff from us so much it's ridiculous.
Yep. All it boils down to is I don't trust the fucking government.
Oh, for all we know, we got fucking lizard people running around.
We do. They're in Washington, D.C. But that's a topic for another day.
And Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. No, those are just Satanists. But that's a topic
No,
for another day.
you might be right there. You might be right. But yeah,
Oh,
I agree with you. I don't trust government looking at shit like this because they're just going to
yeah.
dismiss it as some type of bullshit.
Not to change the subject, but my ADD brain just remembered this.
Oh God.
I'll explain more off air, but I have another game for us to play at WinStar. It's not what you're thinking, I promise. It's not what you're thinking. It's a drinking game. It is not what you're thinking.
I don't trust you, Dakota. I don't trust you. I do not trust you.
I'll elaborate off camera. It's just a drinking game. But I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
give it away because I want to record it for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. But I might not be able to go to one store now. I've been through it in more ways than one, and I'm not looking forward to
it. Hey, close us out and I'll explain it to you. Close us out and I'll explain it to you.
All right, you lovely bastards. We appreciate y'all coming around once again, listening to us and everything and our crazy ass ideas and everything. But we're going to leave y'all for the day and let y'all listen to this. And like I said in the start of this, like, share, subscribe, YouTube, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And join us next week for another exciting episode. And we'll see y'all later.
Next week, we're going to kind of get back into the ghost stories / unsolved crime, true crime topics. I got a wild one for you. That's all I'll say on that topic. I also want to say, guys, me and Dave saw The Love on YouTube for the Kelly Hopkinsville mega episode. We saw how that one took off. I still want to know why, but I'm also not complaining. I appreciate it. Just keep it up. Keep up the views and the subscribes and the likes and all that good shit. Love y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Later, brother.
Later, y'all.
Project Blue Book was the code name for the U.S. Air Force's longest-running program to systematically investigate unidentified flying objects. Launched in March 1952 amid Cold War tensions, it followed two earlier Air Force UFO studies, Project Sign from 1947 to 1949 and Project Grudge from 1949 to 1952. Blue Book was headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where it centralized thousands of UFO reports from military personnel and civilians. The program's objectives were twofold. One, determine if UFO sightings posed a threat to national security, and two, analyze UFO reports for any evidence of advanced technology that could benefit scientific research. To meet these goals, Project Blue Book aimed to collect, investigate, and explain all UFO sightings reported to the Air Force using a standardized, rigorous approach. So what's up, bud?
Oh, not much. Another week, another dollar to be made as usual.
You making
So
$1?
I'm fucking trying to at some point.
How you managing that? I ain't seen a dime.
Wow. It gets spent faster than I can make it.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. That's like that. Oh God. What was that country song? Oh God, I'm drawing a fucking blank. There was one. It was like you know, before the money even hits my account or something like that, it's gone. Like those aren't the exact words, but that was what it was saying.
Hmm.
I'm drawing a fucking blank now. It was a '90s country song. Well, go ahead and welcome everybody in. I got to check something real quick.
Oh, Lord. All right, guys. Welcome back to another week's Lots Full podcast. You already know the topic we're going to talk about, Project Blue Book. It's going to be an interesting one, as always. And thanks for tuning in, like usual. And just remember, like, share, subscribe on here, TikTok, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So, Coda, and with all that being said, you want to get into
Well,
this? Or do you got more
this
to
one
add?
is this one is going to be a really good one. So I went through and I not only got information about Project Blue Book, but I also got some of like their more popular uh, cases that
Okay.
have never been fully explained.
Oh, well.
So we can go over those too. Uh, so the first director of Project Blue Book was Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, an Air Force officer who had served in World War II and who even coined the term unidentified flying object to replace popular terms like flying saucer. Ruppelt led the project in its early, more open-minded phase and implemented scientific methods such as standardized questionnaires and statistical analysis of sightings. The program also had a scientific consultant, astronomer J. Allen Hynek, who served for the entire duration of Blue Book. Over time, Blue Book's leadership and tone changed. After Ruppelt's tenure, later directors were seen as more skeptical, and by August 1963, Major Hector Quintanilla took over as the last chief of Project Blue Book. Under Quintanilla, Blue Book continued until its termination at the end of 1969. In total, from 1947 to 1969, the Air Force's UFO investigations, including Blue Book and its predecessors, collected 12,618 sighting reports, of which 701 cases, about 5%, were officially classified as unidentified after analysis.
Damn.
Now
They were busy for a bit.
that poses the question, and I use this for cryptids and for ghosts and for aliens, all of it. It pertains to all of it. We'll pose it to y'all using Bigfoot. Okay, how many people roughly? I'm not asking for an exact number. How many people, Dave, would you say a year claim to see Bigfoot?
Probably a couple thousand.
Okay, out of that couple thousand, how many have to be telling the absolute truth in order for Bigfoot to be real?
Mm. Maybe a quarter.
No, one. Because if even one person who claims to have seen Bigfoot is telling the absolute truth, then that one person saw Bigfoot, which means Bigfoot is real.
That's true.
One. So they have 701 cases that are unexplained. So out of those 700 that are unexplained, how many of those have to be telling the truth for aliens to be real?
Numero uno.
One. One person.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of documented cases about it.
Mm-hmm.
Past Project Blue Book.
12,618 from 1947 to 1969. That's 22 years. It's a lot.
Now, when was Roswell again?
1940. I think it was 47. I believe it was 47. Roswell crash. Yeah, 1947.
When did Blue Book start? In 1947?
1947. Where is Blue Book headquartered?
I'm going to assume Area 51.
No, I said it in the cold open.
Oh, yeah. Up there in
Right,
Ohio at
Wright-Patterson.
yeah.
Where was the remnants of the crashed spacecraft from Roswell taken?
Let me guess, Patterson.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Interesting.
Really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I personally don't believe in coincidences. I think that God has too much of a hand in everything that's going on for things to just randomly happen.
I agree. And as the great philosopher Jethro Gibbs once said, there's no such thing as a coincidence.
Amen. And as the great philosopher Willie Nelson once said, life's a bitch and then you die. Y'all never thought y'all would hear Willie Nelson classified as a great philosopher, did you? He is also an
Well,
astronaut.
yeah. Yeah, he likes to fly high, all right.
Yeah. So continuing on, Project Blue Book operated for 17 years, from 1952 to 1969. So the 1947 date we were talking about, that was one of its predecessors. Let me go back. That was Project Sign. Project
Okay.
Sign. By the late 1960s, mounting public controversy and scientific scrutiny of UFO reports led the Air Force to commission an independent review by the University of Colorado, headed by physicist Edward Condon. This study, the Condon Report, reviewed Blue Book cases and in 1968 concluded that further UFO research, was unlikely to yield significant scientific discoveries. On December 17, 1969, the Air Force announced the termination of Project Blue Book, and all investigations ceased by January 1970. In its final summary, Blue Book stated that no UFO sighting investigated has ever proven to be a threat to U.S. national security. There was no evidence that unidentified sightings represented technology beyond current scientific knowledge, and no evidence of extraterrestrial vehicles. These three conclusions are often quoted as the program's official finding. All Project Blue Book cases were declassified and transferred to the U.S. National Archives, where they remain available for public review.
Okay.
What a wild turn of events.
Right. Now, just
Considering
imagine
a matter of
sitting
years
there.
ago, the government came out and was like, oh, we have alien spacecraft.
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it. Let's think about the B 2 stealth bomber.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you have to look, like, right around that time, that's when shit like the B 2 stealth bomber and fiber optic technology and stuff like that, that's when all of that was discovered, was right after the Roswell crash and amidst Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
Where do you think this technology came from?
Yeah. I'm not saying that we're smart enough to figure it out on our own, but I'm not
No.
saying we didn't have a little bit of a helping hand.
I personally believe it came from reverse engineering crashed alien craft.
So, and it may have, but it could also come from what we call alien craft, or not actually alien craft. Because you think about it,
Yeah.
what were the Nazis fucking around with?
Die Glocke,
Which translates to what?
the bell.
Which does what?
It's a time machine.
Mm-hmm. So,
Which looks an awful lot like an alien UFO. Just saying.
yeah.
Now, I think this is a good time to preface this. I don't believe that these quote unquote aliens or quote unquote extraterrestrials, I don't believe that they are extraterrestrial. I believe that they are interdimensional. I believe that these things are coming from a separate dimension. I think most people in this world do have an understanding of said dimension. And it has a
So
name.
we go. Okay.
Hell.
Interesting.
I think heaven and hell are not necessarily places. I think they are alternate dimensions away from our own. And I think that a lot of these, specifically the gray aliens, I think they are demonic entities.
So this is going to go back to most evil man in the world,
Aleister Crowley.
Aleister Crowley,
Mm-hmm.
when he was
Yep.
fucking around with shit like that.
I mean, look at Lamb. What does Lamb look like?
Gray alien.
And Lamb was a spiritual entity that he encountered.
Yeah.
So, from a military standpoint, Project Blue Book was driven by Cold War era concerns and defense priorities. When UFO sightings first spiked in the late 1940s after events like the 1947 Roswell incident and pilot Kenneth Arnold reports of flying saucers, U.S. authorities were less worried about aliens and more concerned that some sightings might be foreign aircraft or weapons probing American airspace.
Okay.
Where do you think these foreign aircraft and weapons would be coming from? Think
During
about
the
the
Cold
time
War,
period.
Russia.
Soviet Union. Yep. The Air Force, newly established as an independent service in 1947, there's that year again,
Mm-hmm.
took on the task of investigating these unknown aerial objects to assess any potential threat. Project Blue Book's primary military role was thus to determine if UFOs were a danger to national security. Throughout the 1950s, Blue Book helped the Air Force track and evaluate UFO reports in the context of air defense. For example, Air Force investigators would check radar contacts, interview military witnesses, and even coordinate with the CIA when secret test aircraft like the high-altitude U-2 spy plane might explain UFO sightings. Decades later, declassified CIA documents reveal that over half of UFO reports in the late 1950s and 1960s were actually misidentified U-2 or SR-71 spy planes. Importantly, none of the UFO incidents examined by Blue Book ever showed evidence of hostile foreign technology or any national security threat, a point that the Air Force emphasized in its conclusions. What are you playing with over there?
My light just started flickering for no reason.
You weren't messing with it?
No.
Is there a remote?
No. It just started flickering.
What
I
the
also have,
fuck?
I also have one of my little batteries on it though, so it might be trying to tell me it's going dead. Give me a second.
That was fucking weird. They're coming for you, Dave.
It's because of you, fucker.
And they ain't even breathing hard.
Shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, the government's tapped into my light, right?
Oh
That's
no,
what
I
it
was
is.
referring to the interdimensional demonic entities.
Yeah, fuck that.
The government, because y'all are discovering all these things from their secrets.
I think this is a good moment to read this next part.
Oh,
Project Blue
great.
Book also served as a psychological warfare and public reassurance function for the military.
Lovely. Lovely. So now they can hack
U.S.
batteries and
officials do what?
so now they can hack batteries. Nice.
Yeah. U.S. officials worried that the waves of UFO sightings could cause public panic or overwhelm defense communication channels, especially if misinterpreted during a tense Cold War surprise attack scenario. In 1953, a CIA-sponsored panel of scientists, the Robertson Panel, advised that the government should debunk UFO reports and reduce public excitement as a matter of national security. They felt mass hysteria or distractions caused by UFO fervor could pose a greater danger than any actual flying saucers. Following this guidance, Project Blue Book often tried to find conventional explanations for sightings, however speculative, and released statements to assure the public that nothing unknown or space alien was invading the skies. For example, after a well-publicized series of UFO radar sightings over Washington, D.C. in 1952, Air Force General John Samford held a press conference, the largest since World War II, to calm the nation, suggesting the UFOs were likely mirage effects from temperature inversions and not a threat. In short, Blue Book became the military's tool to investigate, contain, and quell the UFO issue. By the time of its closure, the Air Force was confident that no reported UFO had signaled any advanced Soviet technology or alien menace, and therefore saw no defense purpose in further continuing the project.
All right. So now we're chalking up our UFO sightings to mirages and
Yeah.
everything.
What's funny is I had read in my head that first sentence right there. Oh, Project Blue Book was also used as psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And then I happened to look over at your camera, and that's when I saw the light doing weird shit, and you just.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were looking at your wife or something, and they had a remote and were fucking with you.
No, that don't have a remote. I mean, all it is a heart work light. But I had a 1.5 hour battery on there, and we used it for quite a while last time.
Yeah, we recorded damn near an hour and a half for the Magnolia episode.
Yeah. So it's
which
got a
y'all would have
4 amp hour
heard.
battery on there now.
Yeah, which y'all would have heard by this this one going out. That episode will release this upcoming weekend. So
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we're classifying, we're debunking UFOs, saying it's a mirage over Washington D.C.
Bullshit.
Just like anything else the government fucking tells you.
Yeah, government's good at doing bullshit
Like the
excuses
great,
and answers.
yeah, like the great Ronald Reagan once said, if the government ever tells you you don't need a gun,
You need a gun.
you need a gun.
And he
I
also
have
said,
altered that.
good.
I altered that quote slightly. My quote is, if the government ever tells you you don't need a gun, you need two.
Well, you also got to remember, he also stated this: I am from the government, and I'm here to help.
The most terrifying words you could hear. Scientifically, Project Blue Book hadn't. Where do I fucking learn these words? Ambivalent legacy? Where do I fucking learn these words?
Ambivalent.
Ambivalent? Okay, cool. On one hand, it was an attempt to apply systemic study to UFO phenomena. The project compiled tens of thousands of pages of data, standardized reporting forms, and even enlisted outside experts for analysis. In 1954, Blue Book worked with the Battelle Memorial Institute to statistically analyze cases, resulting in Project Blue Book Special Report Number 14, a massive study of 3,200 reports. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, the project's scientific consultant, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, an astronomer from Northwestern University, reviewed cases and initially was a skeptic, helping to debunk misidentifications. Blue Book did provide valuable lessons in how ordinary phenomena, stars, weather balloons, aircraft, etc., could be mistaken for UFOs. Indeed, the majority of the 12,618 sightings were eventually explained as hoaxes, misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, astronomical phenomena, or other natural causes. The scientific consensus reinforced by Blue Book's work was that most UFO reports had prosaic explanations. Oh, excuse me.
You're
That
excused.
pepperoni stuffed cheese bread is fighting back. Moreover, the project's final review by the Condon Committee in 1968 gave a strong scientific imprimatur to the idea that studying UFOs had not yielded scientific knowledge and was unlikely to do so. This report, endorsed by the National Academy of Sciences, concluded there was no compelling evidence of unknown physics or extraterrestrial involvement in UFO sightings. In that sense, Blue Book influenced the scientific community to lose interest in UFOs for decades. UFO research became largely stigmatized in academia after 1970, regarded as a solved problem or pseudoscience.
Okay.
On the other hand, critics argue that Project Blue Book's scientific approach was often lacking. There were long-standing accusations that Blue Book had a debunking bias. For example, in other words, investigators were under pressure to explain away cases rather than truly understand them. Dr. Hynek himself later admitted that Blue Book sometimes dismissed reports too hastily. He recounted instances where he had concurred with flimsy explanations like ball lightning that he later realized did not fit the facts. Hynek grew frustrated with the project's lack of rigor and openness to unexplained data, saying that by the 1960s, Blue Book had become more of a public relations office than a serious scientific investigation. Additionally, prominent scientists outside the Air Force, such as atmospheric physicist James E. McDonald, God, I can't speak, criticized Blue Book for ignoring high-quality, unexplained cases. In a 1968 congressional hearing, McDonald testified that Blue Book had not adequately investigated multiple eyewitness sightings, like the Loveland, Texas incident in which car engines stalled when a UFO was present. Thus, while Blue Book collected a vast archive of UFO information, the scientific impact was limited by the project's mandate and methods. Its final conclusions essentially advised scientists that there was nothing extraordinary to see, an assessment many accepted, but which a minority of scientists and later civilian researchers have continued to challenge by re-examining Blue Book's unidentified cases.
Well, that Loveland one, you know that sounds like, don't you?
An EMP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I presumably think we were probably screwing around with EMPs at that point, but nobody really knew about them.
Yeah. If I'm remembering that Loveland one, and forgive me if I'm getting the facts wrong because I'm trying to do it from memory. There was a UFO hovering over a field next to the highway, and cars on the highway would come into view of it and then stall. And they could not be refired as long as the UFO was there. Once the UFO took off, the cars started up and they were able to drive away.
Okay, that sounds more. It still sounds like an EMP to me. But instead of an
But
EMP burst, it was continuous,
yeah.
which would have
Now,
to require a bunch of juice.
now, remember how we talked about the possibility of modern technology coming from reverse engineered alien craft?
Yeah.
How well do you know what we did in Venezuela to grab Maduro?
Well, I mean, I know we used like some type of sonic weapon that.
Before we even got there, we were able to kill all electronics within the city. Now, I am not saying that that was some sort of EMP or sustained EMP or whatever. The official story is that it was done through hacking the power grid. I buy that. But there is that possibility that maybe we have some form of technology that could do that without having to rely on cyber attacks.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like the weapon that's come out days after with reports that we used some type of
Mm-hmm.
sonic sound weapon
Yeah.
that was making people's nose bleed, incapacitating them, and then we're sitting like 20 people.
You know what uh, that reminded me of the first I heard it?
What?
You ever hear of Havana syndrome?
No.
That's a story and a half. We got to do an episode on that. The gist of it is before we pulled out of Cuba, when we had like personnel there and stuff like that, and the CIA was active in Cuba, people in Havana, US personnel,
Mm.
were suddenly coming down with like symptoms of concussions and stuff like that after reporting that they were hearing like a humming noise. And when their brain was scanned, it showed so much damage that the only thing that could cause it was like a massive fucking car wreck right on top of your head.
Which would be, and it is proven, if you use a sonic weapon at a
Mm-hmm.
certain decibel, it can fuck with your brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like there were people that like on the brain scan had holes in their fucking brain,
Oh.
like Swiss cheese.
Oh.
And all they reported was, "Oh yeah, I was, brushing my teeth this morning and I heard like this low hum. And then I started feeling nauseous."
Alrighty. Just imagine we just
Never been explained.
upward. If we were to send Ukraine something like this, you imagine the repercussions that would have?
Oh yeah. But this was back when like the Soviets were still involved with Cuba and stuff like that. And so a lot of the theories are like, oh, it was a Soviet weapon targeting
It's
US
possible.
personnel.
It's
Mm-hmm.
possible. So it's been known to do some weird shit.
Yeah. But if they
I
had
got
that technology back then, what the fuck,
right. I mean, think about it. I mean, they did we've all, well, most of us, I would say, or half of us at least, have heard about the Soviet sleep study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I
that's
can take
a
that.
creepypasta. It's not real. It's not real. But you're talking the Russian sleep experiment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not real. It was a made up story. But it's freaky. And they
Yeah.
were doing shit like that.
But all right, let's keep going so we don't get too sidetracked here.
Well, hang on, I hear something, so I'm checking my cameras because now your light has me all paranoid.
I'm telling you, it's just my battery.
Okay. All right. Project Blue Book sat at the intersection of government secrecy and the public's enduring fascination with flying saucers. For the American public, especially in the 1950s and 60s, UFOs were a topic of huge interest, fueled by newspaper headlines, magazine articles, and even movies. In this climate, Blue Book played a key public-facing role as the official authority on UFOs. The Air Force encouraged citizens to report UFO sightings to Blue Book, and tens of thousands did so, often via local Air Force Base officers or detailed report forms. On one hand, this gave the public a sense that the government was taking the UFO phenomena seriously and studying it in a scientific way. The very name Blue Book was meant to invoke a scholarly approach, a reference to blue-covered college exam books. Blue Book officers regularly issued press releases to explain notable sightings. They often succeeded in providing mundane answers that reassured people. Example, a UFO over Michigan might be explained as the planet Venus, lights in Texas as an electrical storm. These explanations were widely reported, and for many Americans, Blue Book's word was the final word on UFO mysteries. However, Blue Book also inadvertently fueled public skepticism and conspiracy theories. As the 1960s progressed, more civilians and amateur UFO groups like NICAP, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, accused Project Blue Book of cover-ups or incompetence, claiming the Air Force was hiding the truth about UFOs. High-profile incidents amplified this distrust. For example, in 1966, multiple sightings in Michigan led Blue Book's Dr. Hynek to suggest swamp gas as an explanation, an assertion that was widely ridiculed and led to public outcry. Even future President Gerald Ford, then a congressman, demanded a formal inquiry. In case after case, when Blue Book offered what seemed to be a flimsy explanation for something people personally witnessed as extraordinary, it fed the notion that the government was dismissive at best or dishonest at worst. By the late 1960s, polls showed a growing segment of the public believed UFOs were real and extraterrestrial, despite Blue Book's assurances otherwise. The closing of Project Blue Book in 1969 did not extinguish public interest. If anything, it convinced many that the government was simply stepping away from the phenomena that remained unexplained. In the years following, UFO lore and pop culture thrived, from books and documentaries to claims of crash saucers and alien bodies, often citing the 701 unknowns from Blue Book as evidence that something was out there. In short, Project Blue Book had the official goal of tempering the UFO craze, and it did help filter out misidentification. But it also became a lightning rod for public debate, leaving a legacy in which Project Blue Book is virtually synonymous with the government's UFO files in the popular imagination.
So here's what I'm thinking. I think they did investigate, but it also sounds like to me this is just a branch that you hoped you got a part of, because then he really didn't have to do any fucking work and
Yeah.
everything. It sounds like to me that a lot of these that were investigated, there actually may have actually been something to it, but they just half-assed it and everything.
They half-assed it or they rushed an explanation
And if they rushed an
just to
explanation,
be able to say, oh, it's not alien.
right, but they've also may thought, well, hey, remember there's something serious here, so we got to rush an explanation before somebody figures it out, so they can put a cap on it.
100%.
So,
While Project Blue Book explained the vast majority of sightings, a number of cases remained unidentified. and these have become legendary in UFO history. So are you ready, Dave, to get into some of those?
Let's hit it.
All right. I'm going to set the stage for you. 1952, Washington, D.C.
Okay.
July 1952, multiple UFOs were sighted in restricted airspace over Washington, D.C. In a series of events so dramatic they are often called the Washington National Airport UFO flap. Over 2 consecutive weekends, from July 19th and 20th, and then July 26th and 27th in 1952, radar operators at both Washington National Airport and Andrews Air Force Base tracked unknown objects maneuvering at incredible speeds in the skies above the Capitol. Airline pilots and ground observers also saw strange blinky lights darting about. The Air Force scrambled jet fighters to intercept, but whenever the jets approached, the objects reportedly accelerated away or vanished from radar. These sightings made national headlines. The Washington Post ran the banner, "Saucer outran jet pilot," causing public anxiety since the objects appeared over the White House and the Capitol building. Project Blue Book's investigation, under intense pressure, could not find a definitive cause. The following week, Air Force officials held a major press conference and suggested a temperature inversion, a layer of warm air that can create false radar contacts, might explain the radar blips, and that twinkling stars or other mundane lights could account for the visual reports. Privately, however, 1952 went on record as the busiest year in Blue Book history, with 303 cases labeled unexplained, many from the July DC wave. The Washington incident's implications, UFOs invading the skies over the nation's capital with impunity, greatly spurred the government to set up the Robertson Panel to improve debunking. To this day, the 1952 DC UFO sightings remain unexplained and are considered a cornerstone UFO case, illustrating the peak of public UFO frenzy during the Blue Book era. I don't know about you, but the twinkling stars explanation is insulting.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Like, these things are darting around, and you want us to believe that it's just stars?
It almost sounds like drones in a
Almost,
way.
doesn't it?
But I don't
But
think
they're
we've
able
got.
to outrun a jet.
Well, we're also talking like 19. We said 1952.
52, yep.
So what was?
Still a jet.
How fast could a jet go in 1952?
I don't know. Let me look. In 1952, the military used the Grumman F-9F Panther. That was their primary fighter jet.
Okay, how fast could that roll?
Grumman F-9F Panther. 579 miles an hour. Not as fast as today, obviously, but it's still booking it.
Yeah. If it's taking off on it, I mean, what, an extra 50 miles an hour maybe?
Mm-hmm. 50 to 100 at least.
Yeah. Mm. Oh no. That's a fast fucking drone.
Yeah, if it's a drone, that's a faster drone than what we have nowadays.
But I mean, you put a bunch of nerds together, you probably come up with something.
But again, that's faster than we have today. If we had
Well,
that technology in the 50s, or if that technology existed in the 50s, we would see it today.
well, not necessarily. So we've got technology that they've people have figured out in the early years. Take
Do what?
as I say, take like gas mounts for example. Okay,
Yeah.
we've had several people in the past that they've buried that have figured out how to get like 200 miles a gallon out of their vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's not implausible for us to have that kind of technology if an individual or individuals with the knowledge or the smarts to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So,
do.
um, but whatever it was, I, that's completely fucking insane.
It's not
And
a
depending on
star.
what, yeah, it's not a star. There ain't no fucking way. Oh, I'm seeing a
Like I said,
twinkle
the star
star.
explanation is insulting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's where we get the nursery rhyme. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
From UFOs.
Yeah,
Well, you ready for the next one?
yeah, hit me.
The next one happened exactly 30 years before I was born.
Oh hell.
Okay. To the
Okay.
day. April 24th, 1964. Officer Lonnie Zamora in the Socorro, New Mexico Police Department encountered something astonishing that Project Blue Book was never able to explain. That evening, Zamora was pursuing a speeding car on a remote road when he heard a roaring sound and saw a bright flame in the arroyo ahead. Investigating what he thought was a crashed vehicle, Zamora instead came upon a shiny oval-shaped object on the ground and nearby two small human-like figures in white overalls. As he approached, the object emitted a loud blast, a bluish flame, and lifted off, flying away rapidly. Other police soon arrived to find smoldering brush and four angular imprints in the dirt, as if something had used landing gear. The Lonnie Zamora incident made headlines worldwide. Here, as Here was a well-respected policeman describing a landed craft and possible occupants. Blue Book investigators and Dr. Hynek himself examined the site. After extensive checks, no conventional explanation such as a hoax, aircraft, or test rocket could be confirmed. Project Blue Book officially listed the case as unknown, its highest uncertainty classification. Over the years, theories have ranged from an experimental lunar lander test gone astray to a student prank, but none have been substantiated. The Socorro case deeply impressed Dr. Hynek, who considered it one of the most credible UFO encounters. It remains one of the best documented unexplained cases in the Project Blue Book files, notable for its physical evidence and a trained witness.
Sounds like to me a bunch of Oompa Loompas got together and decided we are going to try space travel.
I think you have a fucking Oompa Loompa fetish because everything fucking comes back to Oompa Loompas with you.
Well, I mean, small white humanoid figures in white overalls.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no, 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 no. Don't try to justify your Oompa Loompa fetish, okay?
I'm just saying.
I don't
I
need to
mean,
know what about those orange motherfuckers turn you on. I just need to know that you will stay as far away from Trump as possible. Oh, hell.
all right, Grandpa Oompa Loompa.
No, I get what you're saying. The white overalls and all that. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I just couldn't turn down an opportunity to fuck with you a little bit.
Oh, I know you can't.
I don't know if you saw it, but the whole time you were talking, I was just sitting here like, because I was thinking about it in my head. I was like, yeah, okay.
Them gears are turning a little too quick.
So, what do you think about Officer Zamora's incident?
Small spacecraft, oval-like, which we've had stuff like this before. It's been reported, especially by fighter pilots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it almost sounds like the Tic Tac.
Yeah,
What shape is a Tic Tac?
it's oval, but at the same
Yeah,
time, oval isn't very aerodynamic.
no.
Because you're still gonna have to have
I
drag.
mean, it's not the least aerodynamic thing. It's not the
Well,
least
no,
aerodynamic thing in the world, but
it ain't. You're still gonna have drag, but at the same time, look at
yeah.
B2, not B2, B-52 bomber or a Boeing 737. They've all got round noses. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you want to do another one?
yeah, we'll do another one.
I've got one, two. Uh, I've got two more. Do you want to do
Uh,
one or do you want to do both of them?
let's see where we're at after the first one. We might go ahead and do two.
Okay. So this one is what we talked about earlier, the Loveland Lights.
Okay.
Okay. Loveland, Texas. Uh, in early November 1957, a wave of UFO sightings around Loveland, Texas caused a sensation. Numerous motorists on rural highways reported an intensely bright object that approached their vehicles, made engines and lights fail, then zoomed away. Within a few hours on the night of November 2nd, 1957, somewhere between 8 and 15 drivers independently called law enforcement with similar stories. Witnesses described a glowing oval or rocket-shaped craft that either landed on or hovered just above the road, emitting a flash of light in each encounter. Car headlights dimmed and engines stalled until the object departed. Coming at the height of the public UFO fervor, the Loveland case garnered national news. Project Blue Book sent an investigator for a quick check, and despite the many witnesses, concluded that the incident was likely caused by an electrical weather phenomena, an intense thunderstorm with St. Elmo's fire, also known as ball lightning, interacting with the automobiles. Blue Book noted there had been thunderstorms in the area earlier and deemed that wet ignitions could explain the stalled engines. However, this explanation was highly controversial. Many pointed out that the specific time of the sightings, the weather was calm and only light rain had fallen. No lightning was observed during the critical period. Both Dr. Hynek and other scientists later criticized the Air Force for rushing to label Loveland as weather-related without adequately interviewing all the witnesses. Given the consistency of independent reports and car malfunctions, which are hard to ascribe to ball lightning, modern UFO researchers still consider Loveland an unexplained case. Blue Book's files on it remain a debated example of where the official answer didn't satisfy even the project's own consultants.
Okay. So we have a rocket-shaped type craft. Where thunder. Now, I'm not trying to debunk this, but more than
No,
likely,
debunk it. That's Project Blue Book's job. Try to do it.
but you got a rocket-shaped craft, and it's more than likely going to be metal. Okay? You got thunderstorms in the area.
Yeah.
What would happen if you rode a giant metal object through a thunderstorm, okay, and it
Yeah.
attracted all this electricity, and then you touch the ground? What's going to happen? It's
Yeah.
going to discharge,
Static shock.
which also could do what? And act just like what?
It could short circuit electrical,
Could.
like an AMP.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I'm with you.
what is south of Loveland by a few hours?
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. I want to say Loveland was up near Dallas, wasn't it? Like North
We're talking,
Texas?
are we talking Texas or are we talking Colorado?
Texas.
Okay.
This is in Loveland, Texas.
Okay.
Hang on.
What is
Levelland, Texas. Levelland, Texas is on 385 near Lubbock.
Is it Loveland or Leveland? Is it Loveland?
It's spelled level land.
Okay.
It's spelled level land, but it's pronounced Loveland.
Okay. Okay. What's the
Just
right
like
there to?
Refugio. How would you spell Refugio?
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Right.
So what's right next to Dallas?
Well, that's up near Lubbock, Panhandle area.
There's an
So
Air
I don't
Force
know
Base
what
there
would be
at
out there.
DFW
I mean,
on the west side.
well, yeah, at DFW, but this is in the Panhandle. This isn't DFW.
Okay. We got a rocket. It don't take long to go
This
that
is
way.
up near. That's true, but Leveland is up near Natalie's neck of the woods. Like it's probably less than an hour from Natalie.
Uh-huh. Just put you closer to New Mexico. You got White Sands out there, which is the nuclear testing ground. Give me a second.
I got no audio on you, brother.
Can you hear me now? Anything?
Still no audio. Let me stop it. Hang on, guys. Bear with us. We're having technical difficulties.